Well, first of all, thank you. Taking time to talk to us, we really appreciate that.
My pleasure.
So we're talking about online radicalization this morning and its effect on Homeland security. Let's kick it off. Where do you think we are right now?
Well, I think we've come to a point in time where radicalization, online radicalization issues are extremely difficult to fight off, to deal with. We have a sense of new products online, whether it's Inspire, Azan, Dabiq. Not that they're new, but they're new in the way they produce the documents. They're slicker. They're trying to identify with the cool culture, pop culture. They're trying to sensationalize the battlefield and lure individuals in to either travel or conduct some kind of preparations or planning or an attack domestically. And that's a challenge for law enforcement. A lot of the activity online, as we've known in the past, is not seen or transparent to a family, communities, or law enforcement themselves. So it's an extreme challenge for us to understand what we're supposed to look for and how to combat it.
So how big a challenge is it right at the moment for law enforcement, for those folks who might have gone to Syria or Iraq and want to come back to America?
Well, it's a real challenge in that we sometimes don't see all that are traveling. It's not only the citizens from the United States that are going over there, sometimes engaging in battlefield activity, experience, coming back home, and not being able to be identified. What their intent is unknown, but certainly the danger and the concern is very high. We also have a tremendous amount of individuals from Western Europe that are also traveling to the Syrian and Iraq area. Obviously, a lot of those countries in Western Europe have visa waivers. Trying to track all of those individuals is a tremendous job. The ones we miss will always be a concern. It's the messaging that has created a difficulty for us to try to keep up with the numbers that somehow have been lured into this type of activity or interest.
And the trouble with the numbers is it doesn't take many, does it? If you just have a few folks come back and are implanted back in communities here, it can be hard to pick up on that.
Absolutely. If you look at your own families, it's difficult to find out what your kids are looking online, whether it's in the room, bedroom, living room, or down in the basement. So any individual can be online for hours and hours on end, and we see that in every circumstance. It's our culture. But again, because of that, officers in the field have to be trained, have to be reminded of what to look for in their everyday duties, whether it's stopping somebody for a traffic ticket, look beyond the ticket, or whether it's someone who's doing a service call. You have to keep your eyes open, be aware of what to look for as far as suspicious activity, and then not only be aware of it and identify it, but know how to report it.
You've got a session coming up at the conference this week, and I believe you've made a video for that. Talk us through that.
Yeah, the Committee on Terrorism is involved in a project that's developing a video. It's a roll call video, specifically for the line officer, giving them information relative to understanding what the threat is here and overseas, identifying what the online radicalization concerns are as far as a homegrown violent extremist, the possibility of the same individual doing harm within the United States, and what officers can do to, again, identify, understand what to do with the information, and make sure it's reported rapidly.
Finally, if you're sitting watching television, if you're watching CNN, you're watching the news, this just seems like a big problem. We've got ISIS, you've got the radicalization of young people that we're talking about. Is this something that we're just going to have to get used to, that we're going to have to deal with for the next few years, or is this something that we can tackle now?
Well, I hate to use the idea of getting used to. I like the idea of remaining vigilant, understanding what the issues are, allowing that the time and energy and resources to be dedicated to training not only law enforcement, but allowing that outreach that we talk about so often. Communities change, they're growing, they have to be addressed. We have to be out there and make them understand what our concerns are. And it is not only a community concern, it's a national concern, it's a global concern. As we see across the world today, everyone is in the same boat. We're trying to develop as much interest and ability to combat, especially that messaging. We have to counter the messaging while we inform the community and the law enforcement community at large.
Well, thank you ever so much indeed for taking the time to talk to us today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.